Sometimes, we believe there is no scientific proof of the existence of ghosts because no concrete evidence supports it. However, at the same time, there are numerous real-life stories that make us reconsider. Today, we are going to take a look at one of India's most haunted places, its history, and a true event that occurred there. Bhangarh is India's most haunted place. Even today, the government warns visitors, entry prohibited after sunset. Locals believe that anyone who stays after nightfall is doomed to encounter something sinister. Some return terrified, others never return at all. I know. Now you are very curious to know the reason behind it, why the Indian government blocked that place after sunset, and what is the history of Bhangarh. So don't worry, we are going to discuss everything differently. Well, welcome back to Horror Beyond Fiction. But sometimes curiosity can be dangerous. One late evening, 5 friends, unfazed by ghost stories, decided to test the legend for themselves. What they experienced inside the ruins that night blurred the line between reality and nightmare, leaving them with scars that would never heal. Bhangarh Fort lies in the shadow of the Aravalli Hills, now in ruins, haunted by a history of betrayal and tragedy. The locals whisper about a curse that consumed the once thriving kingdom. It's said that Princess Ratnavati, the most beautiful woman in the region, caught the eye of a powerful sorcerer. Obsessed with possessing her, he enchanted a bottle of perfume with black magic, hoping it would make her fall in love with him. But when the princess discovered his trick, she smashed the vial against a boulder. The enraged sorcerer cursed the entire kingdom with his dying breath, condemning the land to ruin. Not long after, the fort was attacked, and everyone inside was slaughtered. Since that day, they say the spirits of the dead wander the fort, unable to escape the curse. No one knows whether the story is true, but the strange occurrences surrounding the fort suggest that something unnatural lingers within. It was well after sunset when the group of friends reached Bhangarh. They had driven all the way from Jaipur, eager to explore the fort despite the warnings. The air around the ruins was unusually cold for the season, and an eerie silence blanketed the place. Even the crickets seemed to fall quiet as they passed through the gates. The friends shrugged off the uneasiness, dismissing it as their imagination. With flashlights in hand, they wandered through the ruined courtyards and darkened corridors. Every step they took echoed unnaturally in the emptiness around them. At first it seemed like just another abandoned ruin, but then the strange noises began. Somewhere deep within the fort, they heard faint jingling, like anklets brushing against stone. Footsteps followed them, soft but distinct, always stopping the moment they turned to look. The breeze carried strange whispers, too low to make out, but just loud enough to know they weren't alone. They tried to laugh it off, calling it the wind or wild animals. But the deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Their breath turned visible in the cold air, even though the night was not supposed to be that chilly. In a dark corner of the fort, one of the friends shone his flashlight into a small room. For a moment, the beam caught something. A figure standing in the shadows. It was a woman, draped in a traditional lehenga, her head slightly bowed. Her face was pale, her eyes sunken and hollow. She stood still, as if waiting for something. Then, just as quickly as they had seen her, the flashlight flickered, and the figure disappeared. The scent of jasmine filled the air, fresh like someone had just walked past them. No one spoke. They knew what they had seen, and fear gripped them all. Suddenly the temperature dropped further, and the walls around them seemed to close in. Panic set in. They decided to leave, but the way out wasn't as easy as they remembered. The corridors seemed to twist and stretch, leading them in circles. The sounds of footsteps and anklets grew louder, as if the unseen presence was following them, chasing them. When they finally saw the gate, relief washed over them. But just as they were about to step outside, a whisper brushed past them, cold and deliberate. Leave or stay forever.
Leave or stay forever.
One of them stumbled, but the others grabbed him, pulling him out just in time. They sprinted to their car without looking back, slamming the doors behind them. The fort, now silent in the moonlight, stood behind them like a sleeping monster. Back at their hotel, no one slept. They sat in silence, their minds replaying the events over and over. Had it all been a trick of the mind? Or had they really encountered something beyond explanation? The next morning, they packed up to leave Rajasthan. Just as they were loading their bags into the car, one of them noticed something odd. A silver bangle lying at the bottom of a backpack. None of them recognized it. It wasn't there before. The bangle jingled softly, just like the anklets they had heard inside the fort. They had escaped the walls of Bhangarh, but the curse had followed them. For weeks after, strange things continued to happen. Doors opening on their own, shadows flickering in the corners of rooms, and restless dreams filled with the sound of jingling anklets. Some legends are born from imagination, but others are forged in truth. And once you cross the line, there's no going back. Bhangarh isn't just a ruin. It's a place where the past never sleeps, and those who enter after dark might never leave it behind.